WWRR, WWRR HD1, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, WYCK Plains, WMMZ, Berwick, Bloomsburg, Hazleton. Powered by Mohegan, Pennsylvania. This is The River, 105 and 103.5. This is Music on the Menu on The River. Timothy, where on earth did you go? Featuring Northeast PA's best artists. Maybe, never mind. She can move me like the stereo, like a song on the radio. She's an angel in the morning, yeah, that's right. And now, here's your host, Alan K. Stout.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
All right, everybody. Happy Sunday night. Welcome to Music on the Menu on The River. Alan K. Stout with you as I always am. Sunday nights, 9 to 10 o'clock. Bringing you regional artists from northeastern Pennsylvania, doing their own original material, hanging out with D.C. Taylor. D.C., good evening.
Yes, Alan, how are you?
Doing just fine as we get into the end of August. And we've got a special guest on the phone, Ed Randazzo, who has been a fixture here on the program for, almost 15 years now, going back to, 2010, 11, when he released his first album, is calling in from Erie to talk to us about his brand new record, Wishing on a Train. Ed, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, gentlemen, AKS, D.C. Taylor, how are you?
Right. Great to hear from you, my friend. And we have to explain why you're calling in. Ed is originally from the Wyoming Valley, grew up here in northeastern Pennsylvania. He's been in with us on the show in the past. But this particular timing of things, Ed was actually in town for a little while recently when I was on vacation. So he was coming into northeastern Pennsylvania and I was actually leaving for a couple of days. And so the timing didn't work out for us to sit down. But hey, with technology today, they've got these things called telephones that have been around like 100 years. We figured maybe we could still do this. So Ed, thanks for checking in with us tonight to talk about this wonderful new album. I mean, Ed,
absolutely.
It's a beautiful record. I mean, I've listened to it and, going over, the songs that we wanted to play tonight. We've got time to play about 9 of them. I know there's, about 14 on the record. It's just a terrific record. Talk to us before we get to the music, just about picking up where you left off from the last album and what brought you to this release creatively.
Well, I mean, quickly, when I first moved to Erie, everything that I was doing when I first got here was for everyone else in my life. And I had forgotten about Ed. So the end of August in 2021, my sister Renee and I were sitting together while we were all gathered around my mother, helping her recover from an accident. And my sister looked at me and said, I don't even recognize who you are. The light in your eyes is gone, and I really think it's time for you to make a record. Oh, wow. And with this uncomfortable laughter, I looked at her and said, yeah, okay. And she said, no, seriously, whatever it takes, if you need to, get with Brett and sniff the fumes or whatever it is, I really think you should make time with Brett and see if you can come up with something.
And Ed's referring to Brett Alexander from Saturation Acres Recording Studio, who has worked with Brett, who's worked with Ed on all of his albums. So.
Absolutely. So that was the initial catalyst for this.
Wow. So we're just kind of coming out of the pandemic at that time, and you get a nudge from a family member that, hey, you need to make some music. And so is that when the writing began?
No, actually, no. I had it in my brain. Okay, well, yeah, let me get with Brett somehow. So fast forward a year later, I was in NEPA for a graduation party. And I thought, well, I'm here. So I called my best friend up, Brett Alexander, and I went over to Saturation Acres, sat with him for about 2 hours, and basically had a spill session about everything that I had been through with my family, with some of my own health issues that I was going through, and things like that. And he said to me, he said, wow, I had no idea any of this was going on. And I said, well, yeah, I didn't want to, like, freak people out, but, you know, I'm definitely ready to make something, so let's put it on the calendar. So he put it on the calendar for May 2023. And then once it was on the calendar, I thought, well, oh crap, I can't get out of this now. I really have to get to work. So that really pushed me forward.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Ed, because
scheduled.
it's interesting you should say that, because I think that conversation that you had with Brett, that 2-hour powwow with your old friend who you had worked on, you know, 3 studio albums before and a best of. And so you spent a lot of time with this guy. But it just goes to show you how trivial social media could be. Because if you think that you're staying in touch with your friends because of the posts that they occasionally put on Facebook about, you know, their kid's birthday or Christmas or I'm at the ballpark having a good time, you still really don't have any idea what's going on in their life. Because most people don't want to put the tough stuff out there. You know, they just, people tend to want to accentuate the positive. And so I think we all do that. So when you actually have a powwow with an old friend of yours, say, what's been going on with you? And you really talk to them about it, they're often pretty surprised.
Yeah, no, he was. And, you know, it was time, but I wasn't in a good spot. And I had no idea that any of this was even possible. I was in such a place, and I thought, you know, when my sister had mentioned that, I just got so uncomfortable with that. Are you kidding me?
Well, let's get to the music, and then we'll dive deep a little bit into that and how that may have led to some of the songwriting. There's some covers on this record, like Ed always does, and we're going to talk about how he chose the ones because they're so cool. And then there are quite a few that were written by Ed with Tom Flannery, Brett Alexander on the record. This one was written by Tom, Ed, and Brett. This one's called Stone Cold Envy Blues.
Well, wake up, pretty baby, we got so far to go. Wake up, pretty baby, we got so far to go. And that morning train, oh, it moves so slow. Wanna get down to every town before the night comes in. Wanna get down to every town before the night comes in. And be dead in your arms to outrun the sin. Try to walk and talk at the same time. It's like trying to stop on a nickel and a dime. Stone cold envy, baby, falls down like hell. Stone cold envy, baby, falls down like hell. It's like giving me a test I know I'm gonna fail. Woo! What the hell? If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it baby blankets and baby shoes, baby slippers, baby spoons, walls of baby blue. Dream child in my head is a nightmare born in a borrowed bed. Now I know lightning strikes again. It struck me once, then struck me dead. My folly grows inside of me. I eat for two, I walk for two, I breathe for two. Now eat for two, I walk for two, I breathe for two. Now, well, the Eggman fell down off his shelf. All the good king's men with all their help struggled till the end for a shell that could not mend. You know where this will lead, to hush and rock in the nursery for the kicking one inside of me. I eat for two, I walk for two, I breathe for two. Now eat for two, I walk for two, I breathe for two. Now boy and the girl was a girl, and they found each other in a wicked world. Strong in some respects, but she couldn't stand for the way he begged and gave in. Pride is for men. Young girls should run and hide instead. You risk the game by taking dares with yes. I eat for two, I walk for two, I breathe for two. Now eat for two, I walk for two, I breathe for two. Now stumbling, I breathe for two. Now I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. 5 months, how it grows. 5 months now, I begin to show.
Ed Randazzo here on Music on the Menu with a song called Eat for Two. And before that, Ed Randazzo with a song called Stone Cold MV Blues. Both of those tracks from his new record, Wishing on a Train. We have Ed on the phone. We're talking about the new record. That last track, Ed, I know you're a big Natalie Merchant fan about all the great songs that she's recorded. What was it about that track that made you want to take a jab at it?
Well, first of all, it's my absolute favorite song of hers. I think it's just beautiful storytelling, and it comes from my favorite 10,000 Maniacs record from '89, Blind Man Zoo. And I felt like, well, I've always wanted to cover it, but there was never a spot for it. But I felt like it belonged on this record just for the fact of the song deals with the loss of innocence of this young woman. And I, as a songwriter and as a human, I'm exploring how do I get back to innocence, or maybe I'm also grappling with the fact that it's unreachable and I'm frustrated and I'm trying to get back to my childhood, etc. So in 8 for 2, I have a chance to be empathetic with this young woman, and I feel like the record itself is very masculine, so this is one of those moments where some nice feminine energy can come in and provide balance.
It's a beautiful take on the song, Ed. It really is. Congratulations. When you have a song that means a lot to you and you record it, it could be a little bit daunting sometimes. So I appreciate the fact that you had the courage to do it and that you did such a nice job with it. Getting back to the conversation we had at the opening of the show. So you book your dates for last spring to start working on the record after, some trepidation and getting a nudge from a family member and having a talk with your producer, Brett Alexander. At that point, once you're committed to go in, what started inspiring you to write? Where did the inspiration come from in your life to start penning some tunes for the new album?
Well, actually, this goes back to about 2016. Mr. Tom Flannery from Scranton, who is a renowned writer and playwright, singer himself.
We just had Tom in with his new record a few months ago talking about it. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And he had written 2 songs with me in mind back in 2016 and said, I know you're in the middle of the Joy record, and I don't know where you'll put these, but they're yours when you want them. So I already had Stone Cold Envy Blues, and then I had the lyrics for the title track, Wishing on a Train. And I also had one of my older songs, Fix Me a Palette. So I had 3 songs that were whispering, but then I thought, well, okay, I have the beginning and I have the end, and so now I have to fill it in and try to make my way to the middle somehow. So to wrap this up, I reached out to Tom and said, hey, I really like what you had gifted me years back. Would you be interested in writing some more so that this record, if there was one, could have somewhat of a consistent energy? And he was on board instantaneously.
That does not surprise me. With Tom Flannery, that's yeah. It's like asking the dog if he wants to go for a walk,
Oh my God! Great description. Tom. Absolutely. Great.
Oh man, yeah. He's an amazing talent. Well, that's so I guess that's how the record started taking shape. Let's play another one now that was written with Ed, Tom, and Brett Alexander from the record. This one's called Saint Cecilia.
Please help me, Saint Cecilia, find my voice again. It's been some years since I've had a new song to sing. I know that if I ask you, you'd have some time to spare to help me, Saint Cecilia. Let me know you're there. I struggle with the silence deep inside my brain. Time has cut connection like a broken train. I can't seem to get the wheels moving forward the way I need. So I'm asking Saint Cecilia, would you help me please? Saint Cecilia, I've always been pretty good to you. Don't you think it's time I join the chosen few? Silence up here in my room. 1,000 songs in my head, and I can't find a tune. I can't find the ode to joy that helps me in the dark. So I'm asking Saint Cecilia, would you help me find a spark? Saint Cecilia, I've always been pretty good to you. Don't you think it's time I join the chosen few? Please help me, Saint Cecilia, find my voice again. It's been some years since I've had a new song to sing. I can't find the ode to joy that helps me in the dark. So I'm asking Saint Cecilia, would you help me find a spark? Saint Cecilia, would you help me find a spark? Met myself a-coming, county welfare line. I was feeling strung out, hung out on the line. Saw myself a-going down to war in June. What I want, all I want is to write myself a tune. Said, wrote a song for everyone, wrote a song for truth. I wrote a song for everyone, and I couldn't leave it up to you. No, no. Got myself arrested, wound me up in jail. Richmond's about to blow up, communication failed. If you see the answer, now's the time to say yeah. What I want, all I want is to get you down to pray. I say yeah. Wrote a song for everyone, wrote a song for truth. I wrote a song for everyone,
Ed Randazzo here on Music on the Menu with a song called Wrote a Song for Everyone. And before that, Ed with a song called St. Cecilia. Both of those songs appear on his brand new record, Wishing on a Train. That last one, written by the great John Fogerty, obviously. Like I asked you with the Natalie Merchant cover, Ed, and that's a terrific version. I mean, that you hit it out of the park with that cover of the Fogerty tune that we just played. What made you want to do that one?
You know, I had first heard this song covered by the great Mavis Staples on her 2010 record, You Are Not Alone. And so I really liked her take on it, but I found her take a little too fast. And again, I always wanted to do the song, didn't have a place for it. This record was appropriate because the song, when I was doing a deep dive on John's reasoning for writing the song, it's basically talking about lack of communication or trouble with communicating with your spouse. So, if I may be so bold, myself and my spouse have gone through our own bouts of, lost words or missing one another as far as meaning and things said back and forth and taking things certain ways. So I felt like in the world of this record, it was absolutely necessary.
Well, like I said, you did a beautiful job with that song, and some of these tracks, St. Cecilia, Stone Cold Envy Blues that we played, we have been teasing on the show and playing throughout the summer, knowing that the full record was going to be coming out towards the end of the summer. This one that we're going to play for you now is the first time that we're playing it on the program. This one's called I've Been Heavy, Ed Randazzo.
I've been heavy. My eyes hold back tears like a levee. It's about to break. My heart about to ache. I've been heavy. I've been heavy. Crawling on the ground. I've been heavy. The world just gets me down, spins my soul around. I've been heavy. My heart is breaking. My stance is shaking. I can just fall to my knees and cry. Don't mind, I'll be down here for some time where I can hide and change my mind. I've been heavy. Hello, Central. Could you please give me 209? Hello, Central. Could you please give me 209? Well, 'cause see, I need to talk to my baby, and she way down the line. Seem like them buses don't stop a-running, and them trains don't allow me to ride no more. Seem like them buses don't stop a-running, and them trains don't allow me to ride no more. Ticket agents say my ticket punched out. He'll be sure that I ride no more, that's for sure. I turn around from the telephone when walking straight back home. I turn around from the telephone, I went walking straight back home. I'll be praying deep in my heart, asking Jesus, oh Lord, what wrong have I done? I'll be praying deep in my soul, asking Jesus, what wrong have I done? My Lord.
Ed Randazzo here on Music on the Menu with a song called Give Me Central 209, a song made famous by country blues legend Lightning Hopkins, another nice choice from Ed for the record. And before that, an original track written by Ed, Tom Flannery, and Brett Alexander called I've Been Heavy. We've been hanging out with Ed for the entire hour here, talking to him about his new album, Wishing on a Train, playing nothing but tracks from that record. Ed, you were recently in Wilkes-Barre area, or Northeast PA. You did a show a couple of weeks ago in Bloomsburg with Brett, and that was the first opportunity, I guess, you had to play the songs out live. How'd that go for you?
Oh, it was great.
That was when I was on vacation. Like I said, we missed each other there.
Yeah, and then, we were two trains passing in the night. You know what I mean? We couldn't connect, but that's we're connected now.
We are.
No, it was great. That audience, particularly, is a mix of the Briggs audience. So they are there to hear and listen to the artist, and so it was a great opportunity to do some of the deep cuts and get to talk with the audience on a deeper level, and it's really intimate. And the new stuff sounds really great live.
And I'll tell you, you mentioned Briggs, and because Briggs is in southern Luzerne County, pretty much almost on the Columbia County border, you're down there in Bloomsburg doing that show with Brett a few weeks ago. There had to be folks there that came out to see you because of some of those wonderful performances that I've personally seen you give at Briggs. I mean, to the audience who's listening, I've seen Ed get standing ovations at Briggs Farm. You know, I saw Ed sing the national anthem at Briggs Farm to open up the festival one year. That's been a wonderful event for you on several occasions. And so for you to be down in that neck of the woods doing a show makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was great. It's a small room, 50 seats, and I'll tell you, from my vantage point, it was filled.
Well, that's awesome to hear, Ed. I love to hear that because, you know, like I said, some of those shows that you've done down there, right in that vicinity over the years, have been, you know, I mean, I've seen you play here at the casino. I've seen you up at the Woodlands events that I worked on with you in the past. But some of those Briggs Farm shows you did were really something. Hey, I have to tell you, looking at the liner notes to the new album, and I love the fact that you put out a proper CD with it's beautifully packaged, by the way. We were talking a little bit about that off the air. But, you know, I looked to see who wrote the songs and I, you know, a couple of the covers you did, Fogerty, Natalie Merchant. But nice to see Mr. Mike Nadok have a songwriting credit on this next song that we're going to play for you now, The Ballad of Thomas Edward Henry. How did Mike get into the mix on writing this track with you?
I've been wanting to write with Mike for years. I mean, he is lovingly known as the sixth member of the Badleys.
Correct.
As some of the audience might realize. But you know, again, me and Mike tried to connect and it wouldn't happen. But this time, I made it happen. And I basically sent Mike my dump of ideas, and him and I just created this world in this particular song. And then when it was time to head over to NEPA to record the record, Brett and I demoed it, and what everyone hears is pretty much how the demo sounded. So
for the audience,
lovely to work with Mike.
Sometimes I don't want to make assumptions on the show. Mike Nadok, songwriter with the Badleys, wrote a whole bunch of songs with the Badleys, particularly on their first couple of records. Wrote the song Angelina's Coming Home with the band. Has been a big part of that group over the years. Also a radio show host that also supports local music with his long-running Cellar Full of Noise show, which is currently airing on King's College, WRKC. And so just a big supporter of local music over the years, a friend of mine as well as Ed's. And I was just delighted to see him working with you on this record. Let's play that track for everybody right now. This one's called The Ballad of Thomas Edward Henry.
I've got a story, I've got something to say. Pull yourselves up, let me tell you his name. Thomas Edward Henry, it's a mouthful, I know. Here is a story about a man and his soul. Thomas grew up damn fine, happy yet troubled and feeling confined. The anger inside had to break out free of the facade the whole world could see. Coming of age, he embraced a desire to follow his muse away from the choir. He packed what he could, enough to sustain, look life in the face and hop the next train. A lonesome whistle did inspire tiny sparks into a fire. Thomas embraced his role. Always the aim was to save his soul. Always the aim was to save his soul. Thomas tasted heaven, he loved the rails, all the small towns and their holy grails. Spoke a language only he'd imagined, such a grand freewheeling pageant with many miles in well different shades of different views, till one day he saw worn out. Thomas felt he had something to sing about. A lonesome whistle did inspire tiny sparks into a fire. Thomas embraced his role. Always the aim was to save his soul. Said always the aim was to save his soul. He spoke of the great traditions first, then soon found a voice within his very own verse. He sings about clouds, constellations, and trains, dark isolation and soul-cleansing rains, about the geometry of the blues, with the sharpest of angles and the most subtle clues. And what he'd aim for, you'd have to say, Thomas Edward Henry found his way. A lonesome whistle did inspire tiny sparks into a fire. Thomas embraced his role. Always the aim was to save his soul. Always the aim was to save his soul. Fix me a pallet to lay on your floor. I don't need no bed. Fix me a pallet to lay on your floor. I just need to rest my head. I said, fix me a pallet to lay on your floor. I don't need no sheets. Fix me a pallet to lay on your floor. I just need to rest my feet. Life is hard, oh so hard. Yes it is. Days ending. I've had about all that I can take. The sun is descending, and my body, all it do is ache. Fix me a pallet to sleep on your floor. I don't need no drinks. Fix me a pallet to lay on your floor. I just need to catch some winks. I said, fix me a pallet to lay on your floor. I don't need no lullaby. Fix me a pallet to lay on your floor, so I can rest my head down and cry and cry. Satan, your kingdom must come down. Satan, your kingdom must come down. I heard the voice of Jesus cry. Satan, your kingdom must come down. I'm gonna pray till they knock your kingdom down. Pray till they tear your kingdom down. I heard the voice of Jesus cry. Satan, your kingdom must come down. I'm gonna shout till they tear your kingdom down. Shout till they tear your kingdom down. I heard the voice of Jesus cry. Satan, your kingdom must come down.
Ed Randazzo here on Music on the Menu with a song called Satan, Your Kingdom Must Come Down. Before that, Ed with a song called Fix Me a Palette. And before that, Ed Randazzo with the song called The Ballad of Thomas Edward Henry. So Fix Me a Palette, Ed talked about earlier in the show. That's the one that he wrote with Brett. The Ballad of Thomas Edward Henry was one that he wrote with Brett and Mike Nadock. But that last one that we just played, that's an old standard. And I noticed over the course of your career with music, Ed, that occasionally you'll get in some biblical passages or things like that that I've always found interesting. What is it that draws you to songs like that?
I'm still an 8-year-old Catholic boy, and those images don't leave your brain and your heart. They're there forever.
I can relate to that.
I know you can, absolutely. So.
No, that's pretty cool. When you talk about the context of now a body of work, you know, this is 4 studio albums, plus there was one sort of best of collection. You know, how would you compare this latest record to the previous records? What's different, and maybe also because all artists sort of have a core to them, what's the same? How would you answer in that context? How would you look at this body of work you have?
I would say this record stands by itself in the sense that this is the very first record where I, as the artist, went inward and underneath my own skin, whereas the previous records, I was writing from an observational point of view.
Well, that's a huge
difference. Commenting on things around me.
Yeah.
This is the very first time where I'm spilling out my own guts, really.
And you know what's so interesting about that, Ed, is that I've been interviewing musicians for 30 plus years now. Most artists, it's the other way. You know, they write about their own experiences first, and then maybe later is when they say, you know, I'm going to try to write a third person song. You know, even in the context of the Beatles, there aren't really many songs like Rocky Raccoon that tells a story. You know, a lot of them are about things that maybe they had gone through in their own lives. So I think that that's interesting that you as a songwriter kind of went in the different route to get to that place. That it took you 4 records to get there. But once you found yourself doing it, did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the 7 weeks that I spent with Brett, they were some of the most magical sessions I've ever had. And I'm sure Brett would echo those sentiments. I mean, it was fantastic.
Well, it could be very therapeutic when you're getting some stuff out of your, out from inside.
It was, and I think with the previous records, there was a void after they were done, and there was almost this postpartum depression going on. Whereas with this record, after we finished, there was a sense of relief of, thank God, I have this body of work out of me.
Well, we congratulate you on this release, Ed, and we thank you for taking the time to call in from Erie. Hopefully you won't get 8 feet of snow again like you did the one year. I remember texting you about that, saying, do you really have 8 feet of snow out there? Because I saw that on the news, and I couldn't even imagine what that was like. It was some absurd number. But hopefully.
I will keep you posted.
Please do. And where can people get this? Record comes out on Friday the 30th. So we're giving people a sneak peek. But on Friday, where can people pick it up? The usual platforms and formats?
Well, definitely Spotify for those of you who are digiphiles. But also, I urge everyone locally to please stop by Joe Nardone's Gallery of Sound and Musical Energy. Look for that amazing hype sticker on the front of this thing. I think that's my favorite part of the record, actually. So I always wanted a hype sticker, and I got one.
That's old school. No, I mean and like people that like listening to music on their phone. Like I buy CDs, I rip them on my computer, and I put them on my phone. So you can have both. You can have the collection, and you can still have it on your phone. I bought a lot of records over the last year, quite a few that are all on my phone. So Spotify to listen, and then Mechanical Release Gallery of Sound and Musical Energy, right?
Yes, and of course my personal website, www.edrandazzomusic.com.
Fantastic. And we're going to play the title track now, the one that you wrote with Tom Flannery and Brett. Another great song from this record. We'll leave everybody with this one. But thank you again, my friend, for joining us tonight. We appreciate it, and we wish you all the best with this new album.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Ed Randazzo, Wishing on a Train. We'll catch you next week.
If I don't have a ticket, can I still get on this train? I came home once more, and she left me again. I know that there is room on the 1245. I had her to myself on the night that I arrived. Oh, wishing on a train. I'm wishing on a train. Oh, wishing on a train. I'm wishing on a train. Oh. Dreamers and schemers and gamblers and thieves and assorted desperados who know just what they need to feel that rumble coming up through the floor and that lonesome whistle blowing once more. Oh, wishing on a train. I'm wishing on a train. Oh, wishing on a train. I'm wishing on a train. I wear my Sunday clothes when I ride out out of town, so the Lord won't forget that I've been around. Ticket, can you just turn your head and keep your eyes peeled for her face instead? It's a much better use of your precious time until your shift ends at 9:15. Whoa, wishing on a train, I'm wishing on a train. Whoa, wishing on a train, I'm wishing on a train, wishing on a train, I'm wishing on a train. Whoa, wishing on a train, I'm wishing on a train.